And there could be new political time bombs brewing for Obamacare, set to go off right before next year's midterm elections. This all concerns rate hikes some small businesses will face because of the new rules governing their health care plans. Joining us now to talk about it and perhaps explain, A.B. Stoddard, an associate editor and columnist at The Hill. Ed O'Keefe is a congressional reporter at The Washington Post. Thank you both for being here. So the issue is that because small businesses have had to change their insurance coverage so that, for instance, people who had pre-existing conditions can no longer be declared ineligible, some of these companies are going to see major spikes in their premiums, and obviously that's going to affect the premiums that they pay right before the election. Tell us about it, Ed.
That's right. It looks like this will especially affect companies with younger workers, maybe 20-somethings, early 30s, because they're healthier, of course, and the way the law is designed, older folks aren't necessarily supposed to be penalized, if you will, or charged more because they are potentially unhealthier. So you could see costs rise overall for smaller firms, say tech startups or other small businesses, retailers, for example. So there's concern that as open enrollment begins next year in the fall, right before the elections, this could all start to rear its head and cause significant problems for especially Democrats who are running in several states in tough re-election battles. The 7 or so Democratic senators in southern states, in Alaska and in the Midwest, and of course House Democrats who are running in some close races across the country.
Yeah, and it's curious, A.B., nobody seems to know exactly how many people are going to be affected. There's one estimate that says 50 to 80 million people will be affected in some way. Some of those might be policies that cost less, but the large majority of them, from what I understand, are either going to be policies that are canceled or cost more. And the White House isn't talking a great deal about this right now. They've got other fish to fry, you might say.
Right. They have other hurdles with the fact that you can possibly, at best today, enroll on the website. And as Jay Carney said, there's some accuracy issues at the back end. That actually means you're not insured. It means that you're an enrollee, but it doesn't really mean that the insurance company has received any payment from you or the government or a combination of the two to actually begin insuring you. And some people are going to find out in January that what they thought was insurance was actually just enrollee status. So there's lots of surprises down the road, and I would argue actually that there won't really be an October surprise for small businesses with this development, because small businesses have been so anxious for so long about this law, making clear to the people whose hours they are cutting, people whose jobs they are cutting, even new hires, that everything is changing for them in the way that they pay wages and in the way that they cover their employees under health care plans that meet the certifications and requirements of the ACA. So I think the question really is, how long can Democrats in this tough year, with all this rolling, continuing tough news about the program, continue to hang with the program and defend it and back the president? Do they have time to wait till March 31 till we find out whether or not there are enough young and healthy people to balance risk in the system? Do they have time to see if there's a Medicaid stampede that actually starts to break that system up and have doctors stop providing Medicaid? Do they have time to really keep backing this when they're running for re-election next fall? And I think that's the burning question.
Ed, one health insurance executive who apparently didn't want to be identified told the Politico website that this is going to be like Joe the plumber times 1,000, that there are going to be all kinds of small business owners around this country who get hammered by these increased costs. And if, for instance, you use the example of small tech startups, younger people, they are going to be the ones who are really going to be paying a lot more if they've got a young workforce. That is exactly the opposite of what the president and the Democrats would want to see.
Yeah, and I agree with AB that this might actually not be an October surprise, in that it's being talked about right now. There's still plenty of time potentially for Congress to come up with a way to avoid these big increases, especially on younger people. And it's one of the things that these Democrats who are in tough re-elections next year have said they want to address somehow: price controls, other concerns with Medicare and Medicaid. And I think you'll see a lot of them actively take on some kind of an effort to change these things so that they can at least demonstrate to people back home, I tried. Even if it doesn't ultimately succeed, they'll be able to say, I did everything I could to help fix this. I know there are problems with it. Ultimately, it may or may not work, but at least I tried. And so that's why I think the fact that it's being exposed now, 10, 11 months before it's actually going to happen, might give Congress an opening to do something with it in the remaining months.
It is the law. We'll see if they can nibble at it around the edges. Ed O'Keefe, A.B. Stoddard, thank you both.